I feel as if teachers could make school better for students by being less emotionally attached to this students and picking favourites. Because in most classrooms, the less students have, more difficulty in that class. So if it was more of a universal standard instead of like favoritism, it could make school a lot more beneficial to the students who were not liked as much.
Teachers can make school better for students by making learning less of forced learning and more of just hey, this is fun, this is interesting, I want to do this type of stuff. Instead of study this, do this worksheet, take this test, it's more engaging in conversation to where if you engage in it, you have to know what you're talking about. And so that way you learn what you're actually supposed to learn through conversation and through discussing it, because you have to know what you're talking about to actually talk about it. And so it's more hey, I know this by heart now because I'm able to talk about it instead of study this test.
Teachers can make school better for students by not teaching the same material over and over again. Like how whenever Scout was in Miss Caroline's class, she was teaching the class things that they already knew, or that Scout already knew, and then Scout just had to put up with it for the rest of the year.
Teachers could make school better for students by having homework size preferences. That way they don't conflict with other teachers' assignments and therefore overwhelm the student, having them stressed out over the entire course of one school year.
Teachers can make school better for students by having less standardized tests and more time of actual learning. Throughout the whole year, teachers make their lesson plan based on us passing the STAR test, but in actuality, if they would take more time to give us the information that we would need to go on to have jobs and stuff, it would benefit us more than just us passing the test. Standardized tests are very stressful for students and for teachers too, and so if they had less, it would make it better for everyone.
One similarity between the To Kill a Mockingbird and nowadays education would be how teachers just assume that whenever you're trying to talk to them and explain something to them, like how Scout was explaining the way of the town to her teacher, and the teacher just turned her down and got her in trouble and just made her feel like crap. And teachers do that now because students would just be trying to explain something and they would let their emotions or whatever get in the way, and they would just be hey, I don't want you talking to me with that attitude, stop being smart, go to ISS or whatever. So just to be more understanding of that students aren't always trying to be smart, and that they can just be trying to help you out.
I gotta redo it. Okay. Some similarities we have in our today's school system, problematically, are the kids that act up in class, like Burris Ewell, how he was arguing with the teacher, and then you got those kids that try to stop the other kids, like Walter Cunningham did. And
one problem that we still have in our time period that they also had in the time period of To Kill a Mockingbird is that the lessons are too general. Like how some students have more knowledge of the subject than others. Like how Scout already knew how to read, but Burris Ewell didn't know how because he only attended school once a year.
I believe that the same problem has been sustained since the time of To Kill a Mockingbird to now, due to the fact that we've stuck to the same textbook style of learning and the monotonous way of getting things into our heads.
To improve the current educational system, students could be more respectful to the teachers and to other students, because no one really wants to be at school anyways. You have to get up early and make yourself look all fabulous and such, and have to go to school where there's peer pressure and other kids and all those other stuff that is stresses you out. That's not just schoolwork and all that. And so just to be more respectful towards others and teachers, because whenever you're not respectful, it just makes their day even more worse and makes it to where they really don't want to be at school anymore, ever, at all.
I believe that the negativity in the current educational system is only based on students' perspective. So if they were to have a more positive outlook on school, then they could improve it for everyone around them, because this negativity spreads like a plague throughout the people around you. And if everyone was more positive and had a better outlook on what's happening, then it would end up making things a lot easier on everyone.
I agree that children can and are capable of working much higher than their skill set, but are restricted by their grade. Scout and To Kill a Mockingbird could read and write faster than anybody in her class, but could do nothing to advance her placement.
I don't think it's fair, because I know kids way more deserving of the grade I'm in than I am. Education shouldn't be based on age, but ability.